English and in Spanish. This service is free with your library card. To find out more, go to infoway.org.
Hello again. There's nothing like a live concert to bring out the best in musicians, largely because they know there's an audience a few feet away taking in every note and expressing their approval. We'll hear from Goodman, Ellington, Kenton, and several others as they perform on stage. Tune in, go swinging down the lane with David Miller.
Saturdays at 7 on KSJE Farmington.
Make each day a learning experience with the Academic Minute and join us as we discover cutting-edge research from colleges and universities around the world. Tune in to broaden your understanding of the past and be the first to learn how today's innovations will transform our tomorrow. From the latest breakthrough in green technology to the discovery of humanity's oldest tools, you'll find it all on the Academic Minute.
Listen every weekday afternoon during the KSJE Evening News at 5:30. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital with a rich heritage that dates back to before New Mexico was a state. We've been improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910. As a nonprofit hospital, San Juan Regional Medical Center is a values-driven organization. We strive to deliver on our mission to personalize health care and create vitality and enthusiasm in healing. We are here for you when you need us, offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock, Friday morning, May 17th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Mclean, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM, the information and cultural beacon of the Four Corners, broadcasting from our visual radio studios here at San Juan College. Glad you're along with us, everyone. Also, welcome aboard to our viewers who are joining us live this morning on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. We're glad you are with us as well. Coming up in just a moment, it is our monthly commitment to covering issues regarding CHIC, which is the Community Health Improvement Council here in San Juan County. We normally do this on Tuesdays, but today we're doing it this month on Fridays. And today our focus is going to be on food communities and healthy food choices in western San Juan County. What's being done on the Navajo Reservation, the Shiprock area, and other places. There is some work being done, and we'll talk to you a little bit about that. Some of the farmers market and community gardens and conversations like that coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE as part of CHIC, Community Health Improvement Council for San Juan County. Later on this hour, we will make time to talk to Wally D. from Wally D. Sports, of course. He is keeping us up to speed on all the prep sports action. There's been a lot of activity in regards to high school baseball and softball. Wally D will get us up to speed on all of that coming your way today at 8:50 right here on KSJE. And of course, you can listen at 90.9 FM or stream the audio on our website at ksje.com or watch the visual radio program on the KSJE Facebook page or our YouTube channel. And we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get a notification of all of our new programs that end up on YouTube as well. Mick Hess will be along, of course, as he is on Fridays, Roving with the Arts at 9:06. And this week, Mick is wrapping up his presentation of the musical Sally, written by Jerome Kern. You'll hear that today at 9 on KSJE. And then, of course, we want to remind you about our program at noon. It is our Friday Spotlight program. And this week, we are talking about Molly Mook-Fiddler. She, of course, was the San Juan College theater director. And they are honoring her and her life and her love for theater in Silverton next week, the Silverton Mine Theater Project, and we'll be talking a little bit about that today at noon on our Friday Spotlight program. And another guest today at noon who we'll be talking with, we're going to be catching up with Farmington's Chevelle Shepard, of course, the winner of Season 15 of The Voice, and she is wrapping up the school year at Farmington High School. She has a busy summer planned. We will find out all of what she is doing and where she'll be performing. That and more coming your way today at noon on our Friday Spotlight program. And again, listen at 90.9 FM or listen and stream us at ksje.com or watch the program on KSJE Facebook page or YouTube channel. If you are looking for something to do this weekend, we invite you to go to the website and check out our regional events calendar. We've got a lot of things going on and still have half of a month of May to go. And when you look at all the events in May, this is the list that you see. Of course, tomorrow is the KSJE 0 Mile Fun Run, so don't forget about that. We hope you'll join us here at San Juan College at 10 a.m. $20 on the day of the race, and you can support this radio station, get a great t-shirt, and take part in the 0 Mile Fun Run. And join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. here at San Juan College. Some of the other events you see scrolling by on May 22nd, Clancy's having an open mic night. There's a whiskey tasting and also healthy living with diabetes class and much, much more. Riverfest, of course, happening next weekend, Memorial Day weekend in Farmington. And so we invite you to check out all the events in the region, not just San Juan County, but also in Colorado and down in Santa Fe and Albuquerque. Check it out on our regional events calendar at ksje.com. Joining me here in the studio to talk a little bit about food security and food choices in the Shiprock area, Trini King is here. Good morning. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, Scott?
I am well. Nice to see you and have you here with us. Also, Anthony Lee is here as well. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Scott. How are you doing today?
I am well. Thanks for joining us. And Anthony, you're with the Dene Introspective organization, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. And Trini, I should mention you're with the Shiprock Farmers Market. So
Yes.
that's what brings you here and to join us in our conversation about healthy foods on the western side of San Juan County. We talk a lot about some of the farmers markets and things going on in Farmington, Aztec, and Bloomfield. And Shiprock is also a part of this conversation. So that's important for folks to know.
Yes, definitely. Shiprock's got a big place in that. I mean, as being the farming area.
No kidding,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, having a huge farming area.
And so that's exciting. And so the farmers market, you are organizing that, and will start in late July?
Yes, yes. The farmers market actually has been going on for quite a long time. It initially started back in 2006, and then 2007, Yvonne Totachitny took over. From there, she started managing. So when it first initially started back in 2006, it was about maybe four vendors that were coming. And when she came along and really started putting all her effort into it, it became like this amazing blooming flower, which is now the Shiprock Farmers Market. And she was able to bring the numbers up to like about 21 vendors in the area.
Nice. And whenever we talk about things like farmers market or growing local food, it always seems to be a chicken or the egg equation. What comes first, the market to buy the food or the food to be able to sell to the audience, right? And that's probably something that I think farmers face, right? They can grow a lot of crops, but if there's no one to buy them, then that's not good, right?
Yeah,
that's not a good
it's
investment
not.
of their time or talent. So is that kind of what some of these folks face on the western side of the county?
Actually, Yvonne went and did a survey back in 2007, and it stated that, majority of the people wanted to buy local food from local farmers, and they wanted a safe, secured spot. I mean, of course, we have like the flea market, we have off the side of the road, but we needed a place that would actually protect the farmers and bring in more money to the farmers, such as the Double Up Food Bucks, the food stamp program,
Right.
with the senior citizens checks from Echo Food Bank. Just these different entities that the farmers can't do on their own on the side of the road. So the Shiprock Farmers Market now, we're advancing to huger things. I mean, not just for the farmers, but the community and the surrounding community itself, such as soon as school's out, we're going to have workshops at the local chapter house, wherever we can have these workshops, doing food safety trainings, teaching kids that they can create things within their own homes. They could farm, they could garden, urban gardening. That's what I call urban gardening inside the home,
right.
or Hogan.
Okay.
So kids, they need to understand, not just kids, everybody, they need to understand that there's a market out there for healthier foods. I mean, we could go and we could buy a Piccadilly. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about Piccadilly, but there's a lot
Right.
of bad things in Piccadilly, you know, versus we could get a sweet radish, you know,
Right.
from the farmer's market.
Maybe we say not as healthy things in a Piccadilly.
Yes, exactly. Not
that?
as
They're
healthy.
It's not as healthy a choice as you could
Yeah.
be making. How's that?
Exactly. That's
If you're
where
going to
I'm
buy
going.
something on the side of the road. Okay.
Exactly. So
Right.
that's what we want to show the kids and get them ready for the farmer's market.
Sure. And you have a background in healthcare too,
Yeah,
right? And so
actually-
you know about healthy eating and,
Oh, my
and what that
goodness.
means for the
Yes.
next 60 years of someone's life, right? If they make those habits early.
Yes, that's very true. And, you know, the main thing with that is, you know, the reality of coming back to your reservation and seeing, you know, not just friends and family members, but, you know, people that you admire and you look up to that are facing some type of health issue, and you can see it affect their whole entire family, and it breaks your heart. It's like, you know, what can I do to help? But, you know, it's already happening now, you know, whatever the health problem is. But, you know, if we're able to somehow join up forces, like with the coalition, the local food access coalition, the
Right.
introspective, the local farmers market, just people who care within the community and around the community that want to help create that healthy food habit within the Navajo Nation and San Juan County.
Sure. Makes the big changes later.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it'll help. And it, you know, at least, you know, maybe we might be able to motivate, you know, more younger kids to create farmers markets or grow at their homes and gardens.
Right, which is the healthier alternative, I suppose,
Exactly.
right? And so, Anthony, let me bring you into the conversation a little bit, talk about your organization, and of course, I should remind our listeners and our viewers that both of you are appearing this morning through our monthly commitment to CHIC, the Community Health Improvement Council here in San Juan County, of which you are both members. And so, as we talk about healthier communities, food certainly is a big part of that. And so, tell me about your organization.
So absolutely. Dana Introspective comes in a lot of areas. We're predominantly a health and wellness organization. So farming has a lot to do with that. We talk about green spaces, relieving stress, you know, mental, physical, and spiritual well-being, going in and simple things like meditating, simple things like eating right, you know, running in the morning, and even trying to keep a Dene lens on everything that we do, and reinvigorating the cultural stimulation when it comes to the younger generation.
Sure.
Especially with food, it has everything to do with sustainability, which is a big part of what Dana Introspective is trying to push for. There's a lot going on right now. We're talking about P&M closure. We're talking about foods in the schools. We're talking about community members and family members trying to thrive and stick together. I know that there's a lot of the people in the community of even Farmington who have to work out of state, and it's separating and making things a lot more difficult. And I also understand on the farmers portion, because I've been attending the farm board meetings and I've been trying to get involved. I started doing the minutes for them as of recently. And there's a lot of problem with irrigation. There's a lot of, some farms don't get a water source.
Right.
And then, of
Or
course,
it's
there's
difficult to get access to the ditches, I suppose, or the
Yeah.
water rights that are
water
available,
rights
things
is
like
a
that, right?
Huge thing, especially as everything comes in. You know, you got, you know, people on the other side that are not getting in water as far as that goes
Sure.
either. And then right now the irrigation shut off because of an investigation.
Okay.
So like,
And so this year, though, we have water. I mean, hopefully, knock
Right.
on wood, everybody, but it's certainly better than last year. And so a lot of folks are excited about the summer ahead and the growing season that's ahead. So if there are folks that are farmers and have some land and have some irrigation and have a way to do that and produce some food, this has got to be looking at it like a pretty good year for them.
absolutely. A big part of it too is having that communication and working together. That's also a big part of where the farmers market comes in. And that is also why the Food Access Coalition is so great, because everybody who needs to be there is at the table, and they're all contributing in their own ways. We've got people all across the Navajo Nation who want to do good. We're talking about storage, distribution, processing, farming in general. How are we going, like, one of the bigger things is the Farm to School initiative,
Right.
where we can get not only would there be some type of income coming in for the farmers, but also support for them, but also you are what you eat. And right now, we're having to serve our children a lot of processed foods, things that have a long shelf life. And honestly, I've heard stories where the kids aren't even eating the desserts, like the cookies or things of that nature, because they don't like the way it tastes. They're throwing it away. And I know that there's also a budget set in place, but we need to work together, and we can do this. It's not something that is not feasible. It'll benefit everybody.
Right. And that's the idea, right? When we talk about things like this, because we're talking about kind of these economies of scale. It's one thing for me to grow a garden, an urban garden for my family, and grow maybe a couple tomato plants or plant some cucumber seeds or what have you. But it's a whole other thing to be able to grow enough food to feed a school district, or even just one elementary school, or one wing at the hospital, or things like that. And that's kind of what we're talking about, aren't we, on a grander scale, to be able to have these things available for, let's say, the Central Consolidated School District to sign a contract that says we're going to bring in fresh fruits and vegetables from local growers if we can find a vendor or find a way to do that?
Exactly, and I think that's where the harvesting food hub comes in, and it's actually this is the home, San Juan College.
Right, San Juan College is helping to kind of manage that food hub that's going to be somewhere in Farmington, is the conversations, correct? There's some grant money to make this happen, which is exciting.
Yeah. And you know, the Shiprock Farmers Market's on board. We have a lot of farmers who are able to bring the produce, who can make it, who have so many acres of corn, and you know, they're looking at a bigger picture as well. They don't want to just sell beside the road. You know, they want to sell at the farmers market, of course, or the flea market, but they're looking at the picture, the bigger picture, and they're like, hey, Trini, you know what? You know, how can we do this? How, you know, I'm hearing about it on the news, how people are bringing food from the farm all the way to the schools, to the restaurants. And I'm thinking, I'm like, you know, that would be great, but that's a whole nother thing that we have to do as a farmers market. But just recently, just hearing about San Juan College having this harvesting food hub, which sounds amazing. What they're going to be doing is we're going to, you know, once it gets going, the Shiprock Farmers Market will be able to identify the local farmers who can produce that many, whatever the request is, for the restaurant or the schools. And we're going to have that food hub, hopefully mobile food hub, that we're working on right now, or Aaron's working on right now. What they're going to do is they're going to, you know, collect all the produce, so it's going to be the safe place where they can do because food safety, you know, that's a huge issue, and you know, they're going to be taking care of that. It'll have like sanitize area, you know, clean the whole process of cleaning the food, and storing it as well. So that's going to be a huge help. Right.
And again, going through some of we talked about this before we came on the air, the government red tape, or just the bureaucratic red tape, no matter what it is, to deal with some of these bigger entities. It's not that they don't want to maybe do this, but they've got to dot their I's and cross their T's in order to bring in another vendor to feed their children, if it's a school district, or their patients if it's a hospital, or what have you, right? Exactly. I mean, there's all these other little steps that need to be taken in order to verify and make sure that this is a good deal going forward. Right. I suppose you mentioned the budgets too, and that's another thing, that you can't blow out the budget if you want, even though you want to try to do this healthier choice.
Right, that's exactly true. And the amazing thing about it is that we're all on board. You know, Danae Introspective, they've been really helping out with you know, greenhouses. And the one thing that we're doing with the Shiprock Area Food Access Coalition is they're identifying, we're helping out with the local chapter houses, and we're, you know, identifying these areas that, you know, residents who want a greenhouse, you know, Danae Introspective, Shiprock Farmers Market. We have volunteers. We have people who are passionate about providing local food and just having that access to it, that they're willing to volunteer their time to help, you know, build these greenhouses. You know, a lot of people don't really know what greenhouses are about, and a lot of people don't have farms. So I think just with the coalition identifying these these needs and these assessments with the local chapter houses and schools, it's definitely promoting healthier foods.
Right. Very good. Anthony, let me come back to you a little bit and ask you about the organization and getting involved with some of these vendors and being able to, again, reach out to some of these organizations to try to get healthier food options. You were telling me before we came on the air, the supermarket in Shiprock is working with you as well with a couple of initiatives, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we are doing the best that we can. Again, the great thing with the Food Access Coalition is everyone, I mean, you can't do everything, right? So everyone takes on a
Maybe not right away, right? But you're working towards it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff really should have been done 20 years ago, right? But now we are left with the responsibility of, okay, do we do nothing? I mean, are we going to fall into the same state of mind of, okay, well, that's just the way things are and things are never going to change? Or are we going to step up, we're going to get together, and we're going to figure this out? Because it goes further and deeper than food. Food is a basic necessity. Food is a quality of life. Food is a small portion. We also have to talk about, again, sustainability. We got to talk about water. We got to talk about electricity. We got to talk about economic development. But in order for any of that to start, we have to have food, and we have to be treating ourselves right.
Right.
And food ties directly in to land and to even like the environmental issues that we have to face. So in many ways, food is very political, and so we talk about, you know, the bureaucracy and the government and
Sure.
And on top of that, we talk about jurisdictional because we have federal United States and then we have Navajo Nation. How are we going to work together? And that's
Then we
again.
have San Juan County.
Then we have San Juan County.
Sure, right.
So how are we coming together to talk about these things? And they're not easy conversations to have, and they do take time, but that's all the more reason why we need to start now.
Right. You have to start somewhere, correct?
Absolutely.
And can't food be an economic driver in some of these communities? I mean, I can only imagine if you could have the irrigation and the land being used to produce food that then gets sold to local communities. I mean, it could be a job creator, and it could be an economic driver, couldn't it?
Absolutely. I think a big portion of community development is acknowledging your strengths. Farmington did that when it came to the river here, and they did the whole cleanup, and they got the golf course out of it, they got the museum out of it, they got a park in every single neighborhood.
Right.
So we have the ability. I'm not saying that's going to be easy, but we have that ability. It's not like it's never been done before. There's people who exist in different parts of the world with the same climate, if not worse, same economics, if not worse. They can do it. We can do it. We have the internet.
Exactly.
We can communicate. So when it comes to economic development, yes, we can do this. It's going to take time and it is going to take money, but we have time and there is money. That's the biggest misconception. It's just a matter of how the money is spent and in what ways is it going to be feasible. We can't be throwing money at stuff that's not going to work. Business plans,
Right. And you mentioned the power plant. We know that there's changes coming. What those changes are, we don't maybe actually know, but there will be some changes economically for the Shiprock area and all of San Juan County. We've seen it happening in other parts of the Navajo Nation, and so the nation certainly is seeing some of these economic realities coming to pass. And so it seems like these conversations you're talking about are ways to kind of prepare people for what's next, and maybe people are a little scared because we don't really know what's next, or it's different from what we're used to. What's next?
Absolutely. Even when it comes down to the river, there's a lot. We're almost in an economic standstill because one majority of the buildings in Shiprock have asbestos, and they got to be torn down and then surveyed and then rebuilt. But on top of that, the ones that don't need to be rebuilt, most of them don't even have plumbing. And then a lot of Shiprock has been, it's like basically it's like a no economic development zone. I'm told that it's because of an endangered species of cactus. But there's also like the uranium tailings that are going on, right? And they're supposed to be doing a uranium community conference, which, I mean, if it's for the community, it should be public, but finding the information for all of this hasn't been easy. So I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm wanting to broadcast it live so that everyone can be a part of the conversation. But it's at the end of its life as far as the lining for the uranium tailing. And right now the conversation is, well, what are we going to do with it? and there's
Right.
a lot of consideration.
Could be a big environmental mess.
Absolutely.
So that's what you're talking about. And so again, all these things go into this conversation of economic development and quality of life, obviously,
Quality of life.
and things along that line. And so as we talk about this, the Food Access Coalition, it's both of you, but others as well. You're not doing it on your own. It is this whole coalition of organizations that are getting together to talk about how to get access to food to these community members to then have healthier lifestyles, healthier outcomes, all these things that we've been talking about. And Trini, I think that you understand more than maybe some of us about how important it is to start that healthy habit early in life.
Yes, definitely. I mean, just, my younger years, I was always told by my grandparents, watch what you eat, don't have any sugar, don't have the candy. And, in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to be young forever and I'll be fine. But that's not the case. My metabolism is down and, I might be a little bit more heavier than I was before. But, I just learning how to maintain that and practicing that way of life, what we talk about in the Navajo tradition, Hojong. I mean, that just borderline with everybody, just living that healthy life. So, me seeing that, okay, where my grandmother's teachings at, she wasn't just trying to, bully me from the sugar or anything like that, but, she was really looking out for me in the future. And I'm really thankful for those little habits because, I'm not so big on soda. Just those things, those little, those disparities, health disparities, and being able to see it actually live on the operating table, seeing somebody, oh gosh, the numbers of surgeries and just with the heart failure.
Sure, right.
The, diabetes at a young age. I think I seen a 10-year-old that had a type 2 diabetes, and I just could not believe that. And that was a reality check to me. And I'm like, okay, well, I still have, no offense to your sugar this morning, but, I was like, I still have sugar in my coffee. Maybe I need to cut that out. And
Right.
so I started going into sweeteners. And now I'm like, I don't have sugar in my coffee or
Sure.
sweeteners, which is a big thing. But just the little things like that. It plays a huge part of my life right now. And I'm like, if there's a way that I can instill some type of teaching into someone, it's going to be about them just living that healthy, happier life. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to have that platform with the farmers market, not just with the farmers market, but with the school I work for, Dream Dinet Charter School. A big shout out to them because they're probably going to be watching.
Right.
But the young kids there, and I'm instilling it into them because kids they really, within our community we see Piccadillys for sale. I hate to say that, but we really do Piccadillys here and there. And when it came to a class party, we were asking what kind of treats that they wanted, and we were focusing more on healthier treats. But it was so funny because a lot of them were like, I want a Piccadilly. Why don't we, my mom makes really good Piccadilly. And I'm like, your mom's not welcome to this school. Just kidding.
Oh dear, right?
And I'm like, no.
Not the healthiest choice. I hear you.
So, just instilling these fun vegetables, these fun desserts that they can find at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And it's there and it's available. And, we're going to be doing live food demonstrations to teach these kids that, hey, we're not just making it up. You can really eat these things and they're amazing.
And part of this too is to be able to have access to these
Yes.
foods, right? And because a lot of folks may be thinking, and as they're listening to us and watching us this morning, well, why are they going to all this trouble? Why are they spending all this money on what they're talking about? And the idea being, if you've got a place to go and you get that into that habit of going on every Saturday morning, you go to the farmer's market, you look at what they have, and you buy and plan your meals for the next week with what you can get that week from the fresh fruits and vegetables. This is all part of a new mindset, isn't it?
Exactly. And people love it. Our community loves it. They're like, we were just at the opening day of the Just Move It, and we were informing everyone about what the farmers market's doing. They're like, some people are moving back into town. Excuse me. And they were like, I didn't know we had a farmers market. I'm like, it's been around for a while, but due to the Gold King mine spill back in 2015, it wasn't operating. So as of last year, I got in there, pulled up my sleeves, and said, let's do this. And
Right.
with the help of local organizations like Tonight Introspective, Healing Circle Drop-In Center, and our local government, Shiprock Chapter House, they've been really, really open to allowing us to use that part of the area, because talking about food access, when you go through Shiprock on a Saturday, you see yard sales and you see sales on the side of the road everywhere. So when you come into Shiprock during the farmers market season, you're going to come through one of the busiest areas, which we like to consider downtown Shiprock, right at the main intersection where the flea market's at. So we're located in the Chapter House parking lot, so you'll be able to see us. You'll see, traffic. You'll see people honking, of course, trying to tell them to slow down. And it's honestly, it's just a really fun event. Even when we sell out on vegetables and produce, you'll see vendors still sitting there just wanting to chit-chat. Last year, at the end of the season, when people really started harvesting their crops, it was a very amazing time of fellowship, just to have your community members, young and old, coming in, with their dogs on a leash, with their grandkids, and splitting a fresh watermelon right there, and enjoying some good music,
Sure.
and just chit-chatting. And we had grandmothers and grandparents just sitting there talking about how the farm used to be, how it used to be flourished in Shiprock. And I'm like, Grandma, Grandpa, don't worry, we're getting it started again. It's going to happen again.
Nice.
And it is happening.
Right.
It is happening.
It is, and that's important for folks to be able to see that too.
Yes.
And so, for folks who don't live in Shiprock or maybe live outside in some of the other chapter houses, but they can get into Shiprock on a Saturday morning, not having to schlep all the way across the county to come to Farmington or some of the other farmers markets. I mean, the Shiprock market can stand on its own.
Yes.
And has a lot of things that are offered everywhere else. Are you looking for more vendors? Are you sending the word out to other farms and farmers to maybe come to a vendor training or things like that to be a part of this when things open up in July?
Exactly. We're actually going to be having a vendors training sometime in the middle of June.
Okay.
Right now we have a lot of our farmers who are, just because of the weather being tricky as it has been lately.
It has been tricky.
Yeah, it
You're
has
right.
been.
It's a good word to use.
Yeah, it's tricky because the weather's acting like coyote. That's what I heard the other day from one of the kids.
Interesting. Right.
So we have a few farmers who actually did plant, and just with the cold happening within a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I think one of their rows went out, just completely dead. And so they're like, okay, I'm going to just wait until May. They're like, I really want to have crops ready for June. And I'm like, well, you know what? We can get a greenhouse going in the meantime. But I think right now the weather's pretty good. Right, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. See, and I just wanted to bring up, as far as economic development goes, like a big part of making this thing work is by supporting it as well and taking it into yourself to make these personal changes. You have to support local farmers. You have to be a local farmer. And there's many aspects to farming. It's more than just, putting the seeds in. And there's the misconception, like, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment, but it's enjoyable work. And
well, there are other organizations that are working to make that work more productive.
Absolutely.
Too.
I wanted to bring up the double bucks.
The double food bucks from the state,
bucks.
right?
Yeah, and Shiprock Farmers Market's with that too, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be starting that this year.
Nice.
Right. So with that, you could use your EBT food card, and you basically cash it in, and you get twice as much for the amount that you would spend. Which is also beneficial to the farmers as well.
Right.
Exactly.
So there's definitely there's organizations out here that are trying to make an effort toward helping build this economic community for farming and agriculture.
And for folks who are, again, watching and listening, it's important that we, as consumers, put our money where our mouths are, literally, when we're talking about food, to go and frequent the farmers markets, wherever you might live, to be able to buy some of these locally grown fruits and vegetables and help these local farmers and get the money kind of recirculating in these communities, right? That is part of what makes it an economic
idea.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we did with this past Shiprock Farmers Market was Denange Perspective was doing free food for the community, so that we could show, and most of the ingredients that we were using was all foods that you can get at the farmers market. And basically what we were trying to show is that you can make delicious food with what you grab at the markets.
And the fun thing about that, when we had Danae Introspective come in, when you come into Shiprock, we're pretty much well known for our roast muttons, the amazing steamed corn on the side of the road, the harvest foods. It was so interesting with the farmers market. I invited Danae Introspective, and we collaborated with Dr. Dave from Cortez, Colorado, and he has his own Cortez, Colorado community garden, school garden. So he comes down and he volunteers, and he brings people from all over just to feed the Navajo Nation, especially Shiprock, whoever comes to the farmers market. He created this vegan sandwich, and if anybody knows, any traditional, Navajos, they look at it and they're like, what is this? Where's the meat? Where's the meat? Well, what is this?
Little different.
A little different. And I'm like, Grandma, it's okay. It's made with this from the garden, and he educates them. He tells them what's in it and how he made it, and he even has little recipes there to share with them. And so, I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I'm like, this grandma is going to come back. She's telling her granddaughter, like, this doesn't look good. It's red right here. What's this other yellow stuff coming out? Grandma, it's hummus. Grandma, it's, she's trying to explain it. And sure enough, 2 minutes later, Grandma comes back, and she tells Dr. Dave, this was good, and keep coming. And so she took like about 3 servings, I believe.
Wow.
She came back and she loved it, and she said I remember her saying that it was beautiful, and this is something that we need to do. We need to teach the kids. And she was like, you know what, you need to put up a stand, Dr. Dave, outside of City Market.
Right.
And so, just with that, we're going to be doing local food demonstrations with the farmers market and getting more vendors trained throughout the whole season. But, you can find out anything that's going on our Facebook as well.
Okay. You're reading my mind. That's my next question. How can we find out more about how to get involved with what you all are doing in Shiprock? There's a Shiprock Farmers Market Facebook page?
Yes, and Instagram.
And Instagram, okay. Yes. And that's probably the best place to go for information, correct?
Yes,
as to
correct.
what you're doing.
Or they can go to the New Mexico Farmers Market Association.org.
You're listed there as well?
Yeah, we're listed there, and a map as well, and contact phone numbers.
Okay, very good. Anthony, what about your organization?
Well, as far as the organization goes, Danae Introspective has a Facebook. We have a mailing list that we meet every third Wednesday of the month, usually in Shiprock at the Danae College Library in the ITB room, around 5 o'clock. If it's anywhere else, we'll always announce it on our mailing list or on our Facebook page, and we always create an event page for it as well. We're also on Instagram, and we do have a Twitter. As far as the Shiprock Food Access Coalition, we also have a Facebook page for that as well.
Okay.
And we meet once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah, once a month.
Very good. And anyone's welcome to join?
Anybody. You don't have to be from Shiprock. You can be from the surrounding communities. But the Shiprock Area Food Access Coalition is a really great organization, and we have healthcare providers, community organizations, nonprofits, public and private providers. It's a really great thing, and I'm really happy to be a part of that and a part of our little elementary school at Dream Danae Charter School, which we are practicing gardening there. And they are still enrolling for students, by the way.
Okay, good to know.
Another really good thing that they should know is the the San Juan River Farm Board meeting is also happening at Ninanazad Chapter House tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Okay.
So farmers, please come, get involved.
Or check out where the next meeting's going to be, but they can certainly get involved, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the idea. And that could talk about all kinds of things from irrigation issues to what have you, right?
Yeah, especially when it comes down to even getting the tractors and
equipment.
Working together, ultimately, because at every single one of these farm board meetings, it's always tell your farmers we need a farm. And it's rooted deeper than that, but even, I mean, we talked about healthcare. You know, one thing that Dr. Dave says a lot is healthy people don't get sick. But even with our healthcare, we talk about affordability and accessibility. Most people don't even want to go to the hospital because they know they're going to be there all day, and they're probably going to be told it's a stomach ache. So even going out to like quality care and, you know, quality teaching, which is why I really appreciate Dream Dene charter school. I have a close place in my heart for charter schools. I do believe that as a community, we have a responsibility to take care of our law, our healthcare, our schools, and each other.
Exactly.
Very true. Well, that's what makes a community, isn't it? When you look out for each other.
Exactly.
So great. Well, we are out of time, everybody, but I am sorry. But thank you both for coming in this morning. It sounds like Facebook or Instagram is the place to go to find out more about each of your organizations and what's to come. But as we've said, it's looking like a good growing season, so we expect lots of yummy things at the Shiprock Farmers Market, right?
Yes.
When things open up July
27th.
27th.
Yep, and we're going to be there from that day on. We're going to be there every Saturday and every Wednesday.
Okay.
And then I just wanted to throw this in there as well. But I'm hoping that Dene Introspective and the Shiprock Farmers Market can work together every year. So basically we have the Shiprock Fairs, right? And this is like the 108th. Last year we did a full circle conference where we did a bunch of workshops, talked about our environment, our community, activism, different types of art, and we offered healthy foods for the community at no cost. But a big part of what the fair originally was established for was harvesting and coming together and, again, just celebrating as a people, as a community, and I would like to see this year's fair go back into supporting farmers and really going back into the cultural aspects and coming together.
We can be that change.
All right.
I think we can do that.
We'll see what happens. That would be exciting, wouldn't it? So that would be
Absolutely.
great. All right. Thank you both for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Scott.
You're very welcome. My guests here, part of our commitment to CHIC, the Community Health Improvement Council, right here on KSJE. 8:50 right now on KSJE, and you're listening to the Scott Michlin Morning Program. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. Nice to have you with us again. And as we take a look at a scene at Big Bear Lake in California, where it is sunny and a bit cool. It's about 40 degrees this morning at Big Bear Lake, and we have a camera perched at the eagle's nest with 2 eagle chicks that are growing up right before our eyes at Big Bear Lake, courtesy of friendsofbigbearvalley.org. And we can tell you it's going to be about 53 degrees later on today at Big Bear Lake in California with partly sunny skies. Here in Farmington, it's a little different story this morning because we have rain showers throughout the region this morning, and it's currently just 45 degrees outside our studios here at San Juan College with off and on showers, fairly heavy showers at times. We're expecting the clouds and the rain to taper off throughout the day today, and things should become mostly sunny by late this afternoon. It will be cooler, though, than we've been seeing this week. 62 for a high today in Farmington and down to 38 overnight. Then mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 63 degrees on Saturday. 64 and mostly cloudy skies on Sunday before another chance of showers rolls in Sunday night into Monday. Chance of rain on Monday with a high of 55, 61 on Tuesday, 68 on Wednesday, 67 for a high on Thursday with a chance of showers in the forecast for the next several days of being early next week. So we'll see how that fares. It has been a cold and cooler spring than we are used to in the Four Corners region. I'm Scott Michlin, back with more in just a moment this morning. The time right now is 8:52. This program is supported by San Juan Health Partners Urology, providing a wide range of personalized services for the whole family, including children. Our caring professionals are dedicated to helping meet your urology health needs with skill, experience, and service you need. For a complete listing of our services and to learn more, visit sanjuanhealthpartners.com or call 505-609-6300. San Juan Health Partners Urology.